Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the Doc of Detox live Q&A. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolf, your host, and welcome to your show. Yeah, that's right. This is your show because guess what? All your questions matter because you matter. But understand something. Until you matter, you won't question authority. So whether it's me or whether it's anybody else, anybody that's looking after any part of your life, you must question authority or you're giving your authority away. All right? So I really need you to get this. There's never been a time in history where you needed to stand up for yourself, where you needed to stand up for your family, where you needed to really unleash the brave heart from inside, and you needed to find your roar, that mighty roar that helps you to hold the line. Okay? No, you're not coming into my home. No, you're not getting into my head. No, I know that that's not good for me. Listen, you may not get this now, but you will find out as we move on, as you watch our shows, that you have much more power than you could even imagine. You have unlimited power when you decide to feed your spirit. Okay? Did you ever hear that saying where somebody said, "Oh my God, she's so spirited"? That's right. And that's what I do all day long is I focus on my spirit and I focus on what? My brain, because I want to make sure that I weed out any dysfunctional belief automatically. All right? I go by how I feel. If somebody says something to me and it doesn't really sit right, you can't let it just sit. Pull that thing out and actually just go, you know what? Let me just show you. And just go, no. 3, 2, 1, I got this. That's BS. A dysfunctional belief system. Not buying it, not taking it. Understand something. If it's not high vibrational, we're not letting it in. If it's not good for me, if it's not good for my family, if it's not good for my future, if it feels and makes me feel nauseous in the present moment, then it's not good. It's not good. And understand something. When people are telling you you got to do something or eat something or drink something or poke yourself with something that is unhealthy, you're only going to do it if you have an unhealthy mind, an unhealthy brain, I should say. And if you have an unhealthy brain, don't think that they don't know that. You need to go in there and retrain your brain. You need to go in there and pull out the weeds, okay? You know, the one thing that I teach people is this. The one person you got to look out for that would be terrorizing you is yourself until you have what? Created and dipped every prominent belief in unconditional love for yourself. I need you to think about that right now. You know what? Why don't you feel that you deserve the best? Why don't you believe that you can make the money you need? Why don't you believe that you can eat healthy? Why don't you believe that there's not enough time in the day to exercise properly and to start looking after yourself? Why do you believe this? Why do you believe this? Because guess what? You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind in the way that you have belief systems that are not honoring, respecting, and protecting you. Look, and I'm really busy. Okay, this morning I got up. I did about probably around 20 callbacks to clients and patients and just people who had questions. Okay, after I did that, I've been working with Nat, our graphic artist, and I'm going to be doing a show for you, if you'd like, in about, not next Wednesday, because next Wednesday it's Del Bigtree. The High Wire's on fire. And the following Wednesday, I'm doing how to become number 1 at the art of number 2. So we're putting that slideshow together for you. And then I'm going to be answering all these Q&As right now. I think we have 40 of them. I'm going to get through those. Then I'm going to go back, work on that slideshow. And then I'm going to be working on some slides to finish off Thrive, which is what? Thrive is a 1,200 slides. And Thrive is about how to thrive on planet Earth. Would you like to know who's doing what, where the planet's going, what you can do to empower yourself and your family, well, that's what Thrive is about. And then also, believe it or not, tomorrow I'm going to spend all day trying to finish a template for clapping yourself to health. And then I'm going to start the clapping classes. So within days from now, we're going to start shooting Thrive. We're going to start the masterclass clapping class. And we're going to have the how to become number one at the art of number two done as well. So there's a lot going on. So how do you actually get a lot done? How do you keep your power? How do you keep your energy? By staying connected to your breath and staying in the present moment. You can't be in the past and you can't be in the future. So which means you're going to have to turn off the TV. So if you don't turn your TV off, okay, if you don't turn your brain off of dysfunctional beliefs, it'll exhaust you. Do you know how many people are calling me up? They can't go to bed. They can't sleep. They wake up at night. That's because we're terrorizing ourselves throughout the day, because we've never learned that repetition is the key, and it is. So if you want to become something or do something, then you've got to repeat that 10,000 times. And you're going to go, wow, that's a lot. And I'm going to tell you, well, just think about this. They've got you repeating things that are negative all day long. Why do you think you have dis-ease? You're not at ease. Why do you think that you're stressed out? Why do you think your energy levels are low? All I have to do is just tap into my spirit and create more energy. All I got to do is totally love, honor, and respect Daryl. Do you love and honor and respect yourself? I hope so. Because that's the start to coming back home to having a beautiful life. Okay? So as we go through these questions right now, all the videos that are all the videos that we give you to help train you about your body, all the booklets at the end, we're going to be having and just showing you where you can go get everything for free. All right? And understand something. If you're on Facebook or if you look on Instagram, I'm now giving my A to Z master class free. If you want to learn about the physical body and learn what the medical system does and learn what you can do for yourself to turn things around, because we've really truly forgotten that the body does heal itself. I mean, everything is about surgery now, isn't it? Everything is about drugs now. Whatever happened to God's greatest creation? I hope that that would be you. Okay? So all the links to your take action information will be posted at the end of this video. All right? And today I will not be taking live questions, but any questions that you type up today on Facebook or any ones that you send in, I will be answering them on Monday's live Q&A. All right? So let's get right to it. I've got a couple notices and that's it. All right, so we're doing personal treatment and training where we'll come to your home. We've got master trainers now that are traveling across to Europe. We've got some that are going down to the United States, where we teach you how to do the Wolf non-surgical and create the perfect day on an emotional and physical nutritional level, or you can come to us. We've got condos here that overlook the Okanagan, because everything's going to open up for probably a couple of months, I think, or maybe only a few weeks before they decide they want to do the second wave. Can't wait for that one. Just so you know, Florida, my trainings were canceled for September, and now they were just canceled in November for California. What do these hotels know that I don't know? Well, guess what? There's something in the air, isn't it? And I think that would be COVID too. All right, so upcoming shows. Okay, like I said, Monday we'll be doing the Q&A. Wednesday we'll have Del Bigtree from the High Wire, and it's called The High Wire's on Fire. And then the following week, hey, don't you want to just become number one at the art of number two? And that's it for that. Now, let's get right into it. Charlene, can the ear restore essential oil help my father who has a hearing problem? It came from a gunshot. He can hear you, but he needs hearing aids. He is 84 years old, but sometimes I feel I have to yell even though he says to lower my voice. Okay, here's the deal. First of all, he's 84 years old. He doesn't realize it, just like everybody else doesn't. But the majority, and when I say the majority, I'm talking about 99% of the population, have had a bowel problem. Now they're going to say, oh, yeah, but I did go to the washroom. Yeah, I sure you did, but you didn't go to the washroom like you could have went. Okay? It's not what comes out. It's what stays in is the problem. And, you know, if you weren't absorbing your own infection, then you wouldn't have the inflammation. And remember, inflammation causes scar tissue formation, crystallization, and displaced calcium. And it happens in your ears. It can happen in your eyes. It can happen anywhere in your body. So the reality is this. Go to my DIY and take a look at the Ear Restore program and see what we do. In the Ear Restore program, we use what's called Bright Eyes. Okay? And we also use Silver Bullet Spray, okay? And you can also use a hot pack, but I show how to do it. And you can also use a Bioptron. If he wants, he can get himself a Bioptron, which is a full spectrum light that'll go in to help to increase the energy actually in that area by 33%. That's the best I've ever seen for helping to turn it around. But what's the most powerful thing you can do? I don't know where you live, but if you were to get somebody to do Wolf non-surgical, it's a technique I put together about 33 years ago. And this here, I'll show you right now, just so you understand. It's a real technique, and it's a real course. This is a Wolf non-surgical manual. That's how big the manual is. And understand something. We teach this course to people who have always wanted to do body work and become practitioners all over the world. And it's an 11-day intensive training. But the reality is this. All my practitioners and myself will give you a money-back guarantee that with our technique, no matter what the problem is in the body, we'll do more in the first treatment than all the other treatments you've got. Now, that seems like a big claim, but understand, once you realize that it is calcification, crystallization, and scar tissue, and what we would do is go all around his ear and work there, and he would actually hear, and if you were standing close enough, you could hear the crackling and the crunching. It would be like snap, crackle, pop. And that's because of all the scar tissue. Look at it. Find me an 84-year-old man or woman, and they're as stiff as a board in most of their body parts. Understand, that's all scar tissue crystallization and calcification, displaced calcium. And we can reverse the whole thing. I don't care if it's around the ear, in the knee, ankle, hip, spine, you name it, we can reverse it. He's going to want to do it. Now remember, does he drink enough water? Is it structured water? Is he on a whole plant-based diet? Does he have really great bowel movements? I would also really tell you this, that if people don't take massive personal action, nothing gets changed. If you actually think surgery and drugs help, they don't. That's why people get chronically ill. If 92% of the population has an autoimmune disease, we know there's something gone wrong. But if you go to the library on my website, click on library, go into DIY, and look at the Ear Restore. And if you want, give me a call. My extension is number 5, and I'll help you. There are other things he can do, but let's just start there. Lisa, what would you do for epilepsy? Well, first of all, Lisa, I would want to know who the person is, man or woman, what's their weight, what's their diet. Because believe it or not, every illness is actually a neurological disease. Did you know that? Every illness that we have, whether it's physical or not, it starts off as a neurological disease. So you won't get anybody better unless you see what they do from the minute they wake up until they go to bed and what time they go to bed. You got to be a detective. What's going on all that day? You know, where's their mind going? Whether you want to believe this or not, okay, you can have an epileptic seizure by just not being in control of your brain. I hope you get this, because it's the God's truth. So how acidic is the person? You know what? What type of beliefs do they have? What type of diet do they have? How much water do they drink? How are their bowels moving? Okay, how alkaline is their system? Okay, how much EMF is around the condo or the house that they live in? Okay, does the Wi-Fi stay on all night? Does this person game a lot? How am I doing? So that's the reality. And then how many different drugs is that person on, whether they be street or they be prescription? So when you ask me a question like that, I'll tell you that anything can be turned around pretty well. You heard what I just said. But first of all, we have to be a detective. Take a look at from the minute they wake up until they go to bed. Do they start their day? I like to call this the hour of power. So when you wake up in the morning, your first hour should be about setting your intention. And where is your attention going? And it should be, and the last hour of the day. So the first hour and the last hour of the day should be about setting your intention in the morning, looking at the way your day is going to go. Have yourself prepared that if you hit a bump during the day or it takes a right-hand turn, you're going to stay connected to your breath. So it's really learning how to connect to yourself. And then at the end of the day, what are you doing? Are you watching blue light TV? Are you gaming? Okay. Are you snacking at night? Are you taking in processed foods with chemicals or high in sugar, high in flour, or dairy products? Hey, so when you ask a question like this, until you become a detective, you'll never unleash the practitioner within. And once we unleash the practitioner within, which is ourself, okay, I can't heal anyone, never did, but I've learned some things. Okay, Jason, I have ulcerative colitis. What can I do? First of all, okay, some people will say, well, I have ulcerative colitis because I have too much stress. Okay, but understand something. Everybody's got stress, my friend, but it doesn't mean everybody has ulcerative colitis. So depending on your diet and depending on the stress, if they're both toxic diet, toxic with your emotions, you put them together, you got the atomic bomb. But understand this, an ulcer is a sore in the actual wall of the large intestine. So the reality is this, you can't have an ulcer unless you have bad bacteria that is growing by the millions, and the bad bacteria actually eat away at the lining of the intestine, all right? And they give off a product called endotoxin, which is really acidic. So, ulcerative colitis is eating a hole, and then something similar to that would be like diverticuli, which would be diverticulitis, right? So colitis means colon inflammation. Ulcer means a hole, and it's being eaten. So we know the bad bacteria have just blown up. So you're not going to get ulcerative colitis unless you've had constipation first. And understand something. People with ulcerative colitis, Jason, first they have constipation, which they'll go, oh, I never was. Yes, you were. It's not what comes out. It's what stays in. And then what happens is when it stagnates too long, the bad bacteria build. They give off an acid. That acid starts eating away, and then you'll see that people with ulcerative colitis will also have diarrhea. I actually have right now that's here for personal treatment and training they came for 2 weeks. And that person, when they came here, was having diarrhea 5 times a day, and now they're down to 2. So now they've been here for about 8 days. So by the time they leave, that'll be gone. Believe it or not, I have a lady, beautiful lady, and who came to us for personal treatment and training with her sister, and she was having 20 bowel movements a day. So the inflammation was so unbelievable in there that when a little bit of poop, waste, fecal matter would come into the large intestine, it would say, get it the hell out of here. And then it would go into this spasm because you have what's called hostras. And what happens is they will contract, but when there's inflammation, they super contract, and it just goes and tries to shoot everything out. And your brain, not being so dumb, what it will actually do is it will actually steal water from the rest of the body and bring it down to the large intestine to give you diarrhea to help to bring down the inflammation. Because when you get too inflamed, your bowel becomes like a screen door in a submarine. You're absorbing all this waste. So if it's inflamed, it doesn't want to absorb all that waste into the bloodstream, because you could have cancer, a heart attack, stroke, well, name it, from A to Z, right? And the reality is it's better to shoot it out. So there's the diarrhea. So bring down the inflammation, help to heal the lining, and then you'll have no ulcerative colitis. Again, I would tell you to get a perfect day consultation. It's $125. Go take a look on my website, Doc of Detox. Go to the top, click on consultations, and then pick the person that is available and the person that you like. I have about 7 or 8 master consultants up there now, and everybody that fills out the form, it comes to me. I look at it. I go over it with the master consultant. They tape your consultation. They send it to you, and then you've got us for life, no extra charge, answering your questions. That's as good as it gets. All right, but understand something. If you haven't done it yet, take a look here. You see back here, my Healthy to 100 book. You can order that and only pay the shipping if you want. But if you read that, that's the Holy Grail right there. I know I wrote it, but it's the Holy Grail. You read my Healthy to 100 book, and you'll have a wake up. You'll have a definite wake up, and you'll go, wow, I do hold the power. I am the practitioner I've been seeking. Okay? Beck, what is in your daily cleansing tea ingredients? Okay, what I would suggest you do is you go to, here's the daily cleansing tea. Okay. And I would suggest that if you want to know everything about the tea, go to my library and click on the daily cleansing tea guide. So what's in the tea? Okay. So there's milk thistle, there's blessed thistle, there's malva leaves, marshmallow leaves, okay, and persimmon leaves, and that's it. And we, believe it or not, we do something to it to help to bring up its frequency and the vitality. You know, the craziest thing is, I will tell anyone out there to go ahead and try and duplicate it. And you can get the same herbs, and it may not work out so well. We put this tea together back when I was 28 years old with a master herbalist, and it's amazing. You can do daily cleansing tea every day, twice a day, for the rest of your life. There's no stimulants, no laxatives, and you can reduce 85 to 90% of all your negative symptoms, because the large intestine is the Holy Grail, which you'll find out when I do my show called Become Number One at the Art of Number Two, and I'll be doing that a week from this coming Wednesday. All right? Chandra, a friend has a baseball-sized colon tumor. The doctor sent him home to die. He is diligently doing chlorine dioxide therapy 3 weeks, added MMS2 and DMSO. What else can he do? I don't know where he lives, but if he could actually come here, here's the reality. You need to understand something. Is a tumor a big block? Yes. And where is it? It's right in his lower abdomen, in his pelvis area. So what it's doing is your waistline is your biggest joint in the body. But that's not the point. The point is that your coccyx is also there, which is the end of your spine. And that's called your root chakra in your pelvis. It collects all this energy. It's amazing. All this energy is collected to go into your spinal fluid, and then all the information from the other organs goes into the spinal fluid to go to the actual brain. And the brain releases chemicals and hormones that comes back down the spinal fluid and gets transported to the different organs and tissues and nerves throughout the body. So here's the deal. Just think this. Anybody that has cancer or has a tumor, we know they have 20 or 30 different blocks throughout their body. What would happen if we got rid of the scar tissue, the displaced calcium, the crystallization in all the other joints of the body? What if we were to actually teach this person about how to actually heal their bowel? There's things that you can insert into the bowel. There's things that you could be doing Right off the bat, we've got to open up the pelvis. We got to open up the abdominal area. So what about pelvic activation squats? What about the pelvic enhancer? What about belly button therapy? What about getting on the daily cleansing tea? And depending on what this person weighs, what about doing an advanced water fast? Okay, an advanced water fast is where he's taking in high energy nutrition, but it doesn't turn on the digestive tract, so it'll bring up the energy level, but not turn on the digestive tract, so the body can go in and start eating up the things that shouldn't be there. And then what about Wolf non-surgical, which I've talked about already? We can go in there and start pulling the scar tissue apart, even around the tumor. Yeah, because every tumor has legs on it, and those legs are feeding the tumor. Understand, when people go, oh my God, I was told that if I increase the circulation, that it could increase the tumor. Are you like crazy? You're crazy, right? No, you're not. It's misinformation. You want to increase the circulation, and especially the microcirculation within the human body. And by doing that, it actually decreases the circulation in the tumor, because the tumor has its own tentacles for feeding itself, and it lives off of lactic acid, okay, which it makes, all right? And it also is stealing all the nutrition from this gentleman all around his abdomen. So we got to bring the nutrition up, and we've got to slowly dismantle the roots on this tumor, and then find if there's a weak point of the tumor where we can start lovingly pulling it apart, because the more blood supply we get in, the less that this fibroid tumor is going to like. All right, and then there's other things that we do, okay? Like we do crystal light therapy that is beyond, okay, what I know of. It's an energy medicine therapy that we do at the clinic. We also use the Bioptron. We also use the Avicin, because Avicin will increase the circulation in the body by 66%. The reality is this. Okay, so anyways, I went to the bathroom. I plugged the toilet. So now what I got to do is I got to create more energy in the toilet than what plugged it, because I've got to get the circulation going so that I can flush the toilet. Well, what we got to do is flush that tumor out of there, but I've got to bring up the circulation. I got to bring up the energy higher than the tumor so that the body can start taking care of it. Look at, I know you don't believe this, most people, because we look around and we compare ourselves to the same people that are the same age as us. That's the worst thing you can ever do. That's the worst. I don't compare myself to a 64-year-old person. I never will. I'll compare myself to a 30-year-old person, and that's where I feel I'm at. And I'm not exaggerating. I feel young. My parents both died of cancer before they were 55 years old. Most of the people in my family died of cancer or heart disease. Go figure. Okay? Mariana, are you going to have a course in Ontario? Maybe somewhere down the road. But, we're doing most of our courses here, so people can come here if they want. We have a course we have one in October, one in November here now, because California just got canceled, and we have another one in January. So who knows what's really going to go on. I don't trust what's going on out there, because soon as they send the kids back to school, they're going to call COVID again. And even though there's not been one child that has ever gotten one young child that has ever gotten a school teacher sick with COVID. Did you know that? I didn't make that up. But the reality is this. If you watch my one-a-day today, you would have saw where I shared on my one-a-day, a good friend of mine who lives in Melbourne actually drove around, and she was followed by 6 cops. Police. Don't mean to call them cops, but she was followed around, and she was taking pictures of what they're putting up. Now, believe it or not, they have all kinds of flights coming into Melbourne, but guess what? They're passenger planes, but what are inside the passenger planes? Well, facial recognition cameras and 5G equipment from China. Go figure. Done with that story. Go check it out yourself and see if I'm right. And so you know that they have a curfew there from 8 a.m. until 5 in the morning. And what do you think's going on during that curfew? Yeah, I know. Okay, Yolanda, what to do for arrhythmia? Okay, polycythemia. Definition of that, a rare blood disorder in which there is an increase in all blood cells, particularly red blood cells. Okay, now, understand something, okay? What we got to do in a situation like this, poly means many, okay, so that's all that means. You know, every time that they invent a new illness, nobody ever understands it because it's always in Greek, because you wouldn't be able to understand it. You're too dumb to understand it. You're too dumb to look after yourself. Why can't they just say what things are? Like colitis, inflammation of the colon, arthritis, inflammation of a joint. You understand? Fibromyalgia. What is fibromyalgia? Fibromyalgia, inflammation of body cells. Okay, so let's talk English for one thing. Now, understand something. I guarantee you, if we take a look at Yolanda's son, okay, and I'm willing to do even a FaceTime if somebody wants regarding their condition. You don't have to give your name, and I've done a couple of them. People like to do that because they want information right away. But the reality is, let's take a look at her son. What are her son's bad habits? Okay, was it a cesarean birth? Was he breastfed? Okay, how many rounds and how many times has he had antibiotics? What are his addictions right now? Let's find out what he does from the minute he wakes up until he goes to bed. It's all about detective work, guys. It's not about isolating the disease. It's about taking a look at the body as a whole. It's about taking a look at the person as a whole, okay, and looking what the condition of their brain is in even before the condition of their body. The invisible creates the physical. So we really take that serious here. But understand something. You give me 100 people that have the same condition, and I will give you different reasons why they have that condition. Because your personality creates your reality. You will see that some people will have the same disease that get well and some won't, and some will even die of that disease. Why is that? Because your personality does cause your reality, and your personality is made up by your prominent beliefs. And who put those beliefs in there? And how much do you love yourself? How quickly do you let yourself off the hook? Do you believe that you have unlimited potential for healing? That's what I would say. Mary, do any of your products help grow eyelashes? Well, I think everything is about microcirculation. I mean, we know that we can grow hair back, and if you want to know how to do that, go to my DIY, do it yourself, and take a look at the do it yourself, and I talk about hair restore, okay? And that's in my library. Yolanda, inguinal hernia. Okay, somebody's got an inguinal hernia. Definition: when tissue such as part of the intestine protrudes through a weak spot in the abdominal muscles. My son won't have it operated. Can he do? Okay, what can he do? Okay, 1 second here. Guess what? This is Yolanda, who's got the son who has arrhythmia, polycythemia. Okay, this might be the same son. Now, does anybody get this? Do you see what I just said? Are we like kidding here? So understand something, Yolanda. Your son is so chronically constipated, he's been absorbing his own waste, and that waste ate away the lining of the abdomen that held his intestines in. He's rotting out. This is called pelvic rot. Wow. So we know that her son is constipated. We know that her son doesn't have a good diet. All right? Understand something, Yolanda. You know what? We can only teach people if we're not hypocrites. So what kind of food do you bring in the house? How do you look after yourself, Yolanda? Okay? So I'm not calling Yolanda a hypocrite. I'm trying to tell you that you would be surprised how many fathers and how many mothers and how many grandmothers and grandfathers are telling their children and their children's children how to live, and they're not doing it themselves. So you know, you can't give what you're not. So whatever you're telling others to do, we need to do it first. Because if they see us not doing it, they'll never learn. And that's worse than even telling someone to do it if you're not going to do it. Jacqui, hi doc, my husband was taken to emergency yesterday. He had a heart attack and had to have a stent in his heart. He is not overweight. He eats well. His cholesterol is a little high. He doesn't smoke but drinks a little organic red wine. What do we do? You need to get a consultation. Honestly, for $125, $25 goes towards product. And then you've got me and my team, no extra charge after that. And understand something. Your husband is a stress monkey. And the other thing I will say is this, and people are not getting this, but the heart, it is the recorder of emotions. How many times has his heart been broken? And men, they suppress their emotions. Yeah, come on, be a man, be a man. So let me tell you something. Take a look at your husband, have him lay down, and you'll find that even if he's right-handed, you'll find on the left side above the heart, it'll probably be anywhere from a half an inch to over an inch higher above his heart. That's all scar tissue. That's all inflammation. And that, believe it or not, you can tell me he eats well, but the reality is the invisible creates the physical. And how often has his heart been broken? How often does he say that his heart hurts? How often did he say his heart is in pieces? How often have you disappointed him? Not that you have. How often has his children disappointed him or his parents? Okay, when we believe that others are responsible for our happiness and filling up our heart will be torn apart. And I'll guarantee you that if I took a look at your husband, I guarantee you that his bowels aren't moving well. He's not drinking enough water for his height and his weight. And he's not eating enough fresh and raw. Understand, this is just the beginning. And does your husband work on computers? How much blue light is around? How much 5G is around him? Do you see? We need to become detectives. Robina, hi, my son has Huntington's disease. Definition of this, a progressive brain disorder that causes uncontrolled movements, emotional problems, and a loss of thinking ability. He is 14, but his CAG is 49, which is borderline. I get no help. No one seems interested until he has difficulty with movements, etc. I know there is a cure, but I have been giving him salidroside, which is a glucoside of tyrosol found in the plant Rhodiola rosea. Okay. And buying CBD from America. I know it's to do with his bad proteins building up, causing degeneration in the brain. I'll tell you, there's nothing like Marigen. Nothing like Marigen. Okay? And I'm going to tell you that right now. And everybody, this is the first time I read these things over. So a lot of these things, or drugs or things, if I've never read them over before and they're new to me, understand it's not my job to learn every new drug when there's like 12 new drugs that come out every day, because there's new diseases coming out every day, because there's new chemicals being sprayed or put into our food or water. Who can keep up? Anyways, this is Marigen. This is an amazing product for exactly what you're talking about. He also would need to do other things. You can get a consult from us if you want. What about his essential fatty acids? What about his bowels? Whenever there's a brain problem, there's a gut-brain disconnection. I'm telling you, there is. What about his diet? Let's start with the basic foundation, but let's use things that are going to go in and help to access the brain. And there are other products. I don't want to get into them right now because then it becomes a product show. All right? Just know this. Everybody's looking for Band-Aids because this is a Band-Aid world. People always wait until they're a 911 emergency, run to the doctor, and then guess what? Let me just ask you a question. When you do go to the doctor and you get drugs or you get surgery, is it because of lack of surgery? Is it because of lack of drugs? I don't think so. So even if you go for the surgery or you take drugs, it would be great if you were to go and find the root cause. And you'll always find that it starts off with what you think and then moves into what you eat and drink. All right? And do. I can't just sit and wait for a cure. Well, there is no such. I don't believe in cures. All right? I don't believe in cures at all. So do you suggest anything he can? I only believe in the perfect day. Once you found a protocol or a strategy that you can work with and it's in line with nature, then, it's going to work. Do you suggest anything he can take which will help subside this bad protein? Yeah, I would actually tell you to take a look at a whole plant-based diet. I'd tell you to take a look at juicing. I'd tell you to take a look at the 6-day advanced water fasting. Take a look at how his bowels are moving. But I would look at the perfect day diet. It's on page 38 to 40, I think, in the perfect day guide. Take a look at that. And then start teaching him how to connect to his breath. Start teaching him about the love band, life band, how to do the mirror work, because you're much more than you believe you are. Okay? Understand something. I want nothing to do with government. I want nothing to do with any of the systems out there anymore. Okay? I'm going to look after my systems here, and I believe in the solar system, and I am the system. Okay? So understand, there's so much stuff going out there that, I did a one-a-day this morning, and I said that we're full of it. Yeah, we're full of dysfunctional beliefs, which is causing all the disease and the sickness. He got diagnosed at 9, and I got told, just enjoy your time with him. I am a great believer. There's something out there in nature. My friend said to ask you as you give his hope this mad world. Thank you in advance. Okay, so you can see the writing isn't that great, but I guess she said you give hope to a mad world. The reality is give me a call. My extension is 5. There's so much you can do. I'm not going to bring up here that you can do, but understand energy medicine is really important for him. We have a device called Crystal Light. You're not going to find it anywhere else, and it's amazing, along with doing the Bioptron. But the Crystal Light would be probably the most important thing for your son, and along with learning how to do the perfect day on an emotional and physical nutritional level. You nail that down, you're going to see changes. Ed, is there a cure for Peyronies? Definition: a non-cancerous condition resulting from fibrous scar tissue that develops on the penis and causes curved, painful erections. Yeah, there is. You need to ask yourself, why is the tissue shrinking? So that's what's happening. The tissue inside is actually shrinking, and that's what's causing that. So let's take a look at the bowels first, okay? But I would suggest that you get some Wolf non-surgical in your pelvic area and in the groin area, because there's got to be blocks there. And then what I would suggest you do is there are some nice essential oils with moringa oil you can use to actually put on the penis. All right? Shane, hey doc, I love your one-a-days. I was wondering what you think of Hydrocolonics. Okay. Well, just so you know, I opened up the second actual school in colon hydrotherapy. And I did that back when I was 28 years old. It was called the International Colon Therapy Association. Okay, so now the reality is that we used to do colonics, and that was my clinic in Toronto. But the reality is we don't need to do that. First of all, if you get people and they come in for colonics all the time, okay, the bowel says, I'm going to get lazy if I don't have to do the work. The next thing is, if people can't go to the bathroom, it's usually adhesions in their abdomen. What about doing Wolf non-surgical, which I showed already before? That's this. And you can go and take a look at what it is. But this is a very powerful method that I put together 30 years ago. And we'll go in and we'll take the adhesions apart. And a lot of people won't even have had like surgery in their abdomen area, and they've got adhesions. Every time that you get bloated, every time you have pain in your abdomen, inflammation, okay, cramping, this is adhesions growing. And what happens is the medical system knows it, that, adhesions will even wrap and stop you from urinating, stop you from making love. It's so painful. It'll also choke off your bowels that you can't poop properly. All right. So the other thing is that your sigmoid your sigmoid's like this, the descending sigmoid, and then it comes down. Then you've got your rectum anus. And what happens, that part will fall and fold on itself. And a lot of people won't be able to go to the bathroom. So we get in there, whether it's a liver problem or whether it's a small intestine, large intestine, prostate, uterus, ovaries, whatever the case, we're going to get in there and release that scar tissue, okay? So that is more important. And I'll tell you something right now. You get on the Daily Cleansing Tea, Tummy Love, and Black Gold, and then start doing the Ultimate Coffee Enema. Okay, go take a look at that in my Perfect Day Guide that's in my library. And we also, in the Do-It-Yourself, we tell you how to do the Ultimate Coffee Enema as well, okay? It's way better than doing colonics. Just know that. I'm not saying never get them. I mean, if you are in big trouble, you can do them, but don't rely on them. That's all I'm going to say. Do not rely on them, because it's a scar tissue crystallization, inflammation issue. So let's bring the inflammation, get rid of the scar tissue, get rid of the crystallization, return the calcium back to the bones, and you'll be pooping. Especially if you do the Daily Cleansing Tea, Tummy Love, and Black Gold, and get on the Perfect Day diet, and then start doing the activation squats, the also the pelvic enhancer, and the belly button therapy, right? This stuff is so important. It's so powerful. Doing belly button therapy releases 50% of your serotonin. 50% of your dopamine and 70% of your serotonin in 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. That'll give you a 25% more stretch. If you go to stretch, you'll prove it to yourself. But what do you think it's doing to really just help things not stay contracted inside you? So do this 2 to 3 times a day, and some of the other things I've said. Okay? Heather. Hi, Daryl. Hope you're enjoying the amazing day. I'm curious to know what you consider to be the healthiest mattress in Canada. You know what? I haven't bought it, but a lot of people are talking about it, and that's called an Ironman mattress. Ironman. Go check that out. Matt. Hi, Dr. Wolf. For about 4 years, I've suffered with depression on and off, which kind of pulled me back, of course. And guess what? So here's the thing. Willpower doesn't work. So, you get out of your depressive state and you use willpower. No, you got to retrain the brain, which means you've got to wean out dysfunctional beliefs about life, yourself, and everything else. And you've got to create a new belief system. And then you've got to take enough of the right nutrition, have the proper diet and detoxification to bring your energy levels up to be able to carry on a different program. So the reality is if you got to change your personality to change your reality. Okay? And doing that, you got to change what you're thinking, what you're drinking, what you're eating, who you're hanging out with, and what you're doing. Okay? Because it does make a difference who you hang out with. It really, truly does. I've learned and believed that our thoughts affect our reality and we can manifest our lives. I've fallen in love with writing and believe I found my passion of writing for TV, movies. Chasing this dream keeps me alive in the hope that one day soon I can produce and direct the vision I've written. But unfortunately, I suffer with autism, so inevitably the world can, society can seem challenging. Well, you know what? You certainly don't sound like you suffer from autism. And you know what? Stop labeling yourself, okay? I'd say that things are a little bit disconnected with your nervous system and your brain. And guess what? Your brain will make brand new connections, okay? It'll override the dysfunctional ones and make brand new ones. That's the reality. Stop labeling yourself. Stop labeling yourself, okay? Everybody labels himself. Hi, I'm James, and I'm an alcoholic. Gee whiz, James, when'd you stop drinking? 7 years ago. Well, then you're not an alcoholic, okay? So the reality is some people might be a little pissed at me right now, but the reality is stop calling yourself what you're not anymore. Get into the present moment. Take your power back. Don't keep going dumpster diving into the past. Oh, I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. I'm a 1-time cancer. I don't want to hear about that. I want to hear about how you're going to thrive right now. Okay? All right? Society teaches us, the Cancer Society teaches that we're survivors, right? So if you're just a survivor, it's going to come back, right? The reality is cancer's never going to come back if you get rid of the C, because then you're left with ANSER, the answer. And what's the C stand for? Corruption, contamination, and conflict. And that's what the Cancer Association teaches. Okay? That's what all the systems out there teach. You know what? What are you? Decide what you are, or decide what you want to be, and be that right now. Don't be going and calling yourself some kind of victim or cripple, because that is not going to help. So understand something. You can say that I have autism, but guess what? Don't use that as a badge of honor that, you know what? I have autism, but look I can even write. I'm not picking on you. I'm telling you. Tell yourself you no longer have autism. Tell yourself that you are a genius. Tell yourself that you're the greatest writer. Tell yourself you're totally healthy. All right? And the universe is going to go, we deliver. Tell yourself you have autism and tell everybody you have autism for the rest of your life, and the universe will go, okay, you get what you focus on. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Why is it, that some people, they believe that they're always going to be rich, and they are. And then other people believe that money's hard to get, and it is. Other people believe, right, that they can't afford to eat well, so they don't. How am I doing? Anyways, I overcome this chemical imbalance due to indeed achieve what I've stumbled along a few years ago on my spiritual journey. Many thanks. Good for you. Find the Braveheart warrior from in, and then start labeling yourself what you want to be called, and start labeling yourself what you want to become. Be there already. That's what I would do. Lisa, good morning, doctor. I live in Lethbridge, Victoria, Australia. I'm reaching out to you about my 77-year-old mother, Anna. She is deteriorating, and the medical treatment she received will not save her. She suffers from heart failure, osteoporosis, fibromyalgia. Is there any hope with your medical treatment? I don't have medical treatments. She can gain some strength. Yes, of course you can. If you want to give me a call, my Skype is DOC period, OF period, DETOX. It rings on my phone. And if you don't want to do that and you want to call me on WhatsApp, my phone number is 250-801-0133. And if you've got an iPhone, then call that number on FaceTime. Okay? Because I'm here to help you. If you think that you want to come to me for help, I'm going to do it. And the reality is this. There are so many things you can do for her that are not costly. And then there's other things like the Marigen that do cost, and other things that we will do that I will suggest. She is hardly eating. Her esophagus has minimized, making it hard to swallow food. Can you please help? Do you know why the esophagus minimizes itself and you can't swallow food? It's because she's got a cork in the other end. I'm telling you right now, 99.9% of the time, people cannot eat because the bowel says, I am jam full of old putrefactive waste, and if you can't get the bowel movement going, I'm going to shut down you from eating. I mean, it's just logical. Get the cork out, get the flow. The mouth is the front door, the anus is the back door, and I guarantee you she's not pooping properly. Get that happening, and she will start to have her appetite come back. And I know I'm right. And that's as simple as that. It's just like this. You go out, it rains, you get wet. Magda, hello, Dr. Wolf. My daughter has dark circles under her eyes. That's her liver. That's because she's reabsorbing her own waste and her liver's overtaxed. Okay, she's got bad bowel problems and has been congested since she was born. Congestion in the sinuses shows bowel problems. How's that? And especially if she's not on dairy. She's now 5. What do you suggest I give her? Thanks so much. What you're going to do? Well, you're definitely going to do the daily cleansing tea and tummy love. We'll start there. And the daily cleansing tea does not taste bad. It tastes like iced tea. You can add honey to it or stevia, or you can put it in soup. You can do anything you want. It's going to work. But that's the reality. You know what? It's her bowels. Rosa, what causes dense breasts? Dense breasts are crystallization and fibrotic scar tissue. Your beautiful connective tissue that your breasts are made out of are turning into scar tissue due to inflammation, due to infection. And again, we've got to go to the bowels. I would also look at trying to get your lymph nodes to start dumping. So you might want to definitely take a look at the Perfect Day diet. Get yourself on the daily cleansing tea, Tummy Love Black Gold. And then what I would suggest you do is also start learning and how to do some clapping, some skin brush, and salt glows. Believe it or not, yeah, to lightly skin brush under your armpits, your groin, to start doing some light clapping in between your breasts, under your breasts, around your breasts. But the reality is this: dense breasts are crystallization, scar tissue formation, and pretty soon you're going to have calcium deposits in there. And calcium deposits mean that your breasts are on the verge of creating mutation. I hope you're getting this. You can turn this all around. If you were to come to us, we would actually be able to turn these breasts around. How about 7 to 14 days? They would not be dense breasts anymore. All right, because we would actually do the Wolf non-surgical, and we would do it in areas that would increase the circulation, and we would and we would show you how to start working your breasts and how to do Wolf non-surgical on them, how to do clapping on them. Okay? Wendy, hi, Dr. Wolf. I've been for 2 months now with pain on my heels. It's crystallization. So you're crystallizing down there, and it's also calcium. Especially when I wake up, I've been sitting for a while. Any advice? Okay. So a gentleman comes in to see me, and he's one of the biggest people in real estate in the country. So he can walk 40 feet, and then he's got to sit down. Now, I'm not saying this is you, but what he does after I did my research, because you got to do your research, he goes out for lunch, he goes out for dinner, and he drinks alcohol all the time. So alcohol is very acidic. So other things are as well, like ice cream and too much chocolate even, or, too much flour products, processed foods. Anyways, we can keep going on with that. But the reality is it causes crystallization and calcium to form in the heels. Because of gravity, it all starts to settle at the bottom, right? Why do you think the pelvis is on fire? Because the waste from the large intestine is accumulating in the pelvis, which we call a soup bowl. Now, where is it going to go if your pelvis overflows? Well, if your pelvis overflows, it's going to go down your legs, settle in your knees, settle in your hips. It'll settle in your hips first, settle in your knees, settle in your heels. And that's what's happening. So, so what I would do in a situation like that, okay, so I'll tell you what I'll do tomorrow. I'll do a DIY tomorrow, Wendy. Okay, so can you remind me to, okay? And I'll show you what I would do if my heels were crystallizing. Okay, now, believe it or not, this gentleman went everywhere to try to get rid of this heel problem because he could only walk 40 feet and sit down. How would you like to do that? And he was suffering with 5 years. How crazy is this? Walk 40 feet, sit down. All right. Well, it took me about an hour on one heel and an hour on the other to reverse it. Okay? And that's using Wolf non-surgical, my elbow technique we've been doing, which we give a money-back guarantee that will do more in the first treatment than any other therapy out there. And I mean any other therapy. Because it always boils down to scar tissue crystallization and displaced calcium, and that's why we use the SAC calcium to get the calcium back into the bones. We increase the circulation, increase the temperature, we melt the lactic acid and uric acid crystals, and then guess what? When you increase the blood flow, scar tissue automatically turns back into connective tissue because you put the life force back into it. There you go. Lindsay, can you do clapping under your armpit if you have silicone from a ruptured implant? on the right side, stuck in the lymph node. Also, what can I do what can I take to dissolve the silicone lodge there? Well, first of all, I'm not even going to touch this with a 10-foot pole. Do you still have silicone breasts? If you still have silicone in your breasts, you got to get those removed. Okay, that's the first thing, because you're still leaking it. And the reality is, okay, the only way that I would even want to move the silicone from here is if I was on the perfect day diet for a while. Then I got on to the advanced water fasting, because you're going to need to bring in high vibrational nutrition that doesn't turn on the digestive tract, because you're going to want to have the greatest flow. I would want to use an Avicin. Once that happens, you put your hand in it, it increases the circulation by 66%. But I'd want to make sure that I was fasting, and also taking things like fulvic, and a lot of it, making sure my bowels, I'd want to clean my bowels. I'd want to be doing 2 ultimate coffee enemas at least a day to trigger that liver to keep and flush that out, flush the colon out. I'd want to clean my whole body before I decided to go in here and start stirring this up so that it goes and settles somewhere else, like in your heart or your brain. So understand, let's use our head about us. And I'm not giving you any advice. The first advice I would say would be to get a consult, get on the perfect day, then do advanced water fasting with the ultimate coffee enema, and then you can start clapping other places in the body and get Wolf Non-Surgical to get rid of all the other blocks in your body. So when you unblock this, it's not going to take you down. That's what I would do. Lindsay, my friend's husband, just had a heart attack. Yeah, it seems to be going around. And he's stable now in hospital. Any suggestions for him? Yeah. Get a perfect day consult. And guess what? And let's get rid of the physical blocks in his body. Get him on high vibrational foods and nothing that's going to stress out his heart. Even get him on a juice fast. Bring in lots of nutrition. I would have him on SAC Merigen. Anybody can do this in any condition. And I'd have him on the Merigen right away. There's other things that I would do, but I would want to do a consult. That's the only way I would do that. The reality is, if he's in the hospital, he's on hospital food. What do you think that's going to do to his heart? And he's also on drugs. What's that going to do to his heart? So there you go. Until he gets home, he's not really going to be in control of his own health. And then, is he going to be in control of his health? Is he? Okay. Men usually will not take care of themselves. Did you ever notice that? And they won't change either. Isn't that something? They're so stubborn. And it's men that usually have heart attacks, because I already told you, because be a man, suppress your emotions, right? And then they don't want to get rid of the dairy. They don't want to get rid of the Wi-Fi. I mean, anyways, I can't even go down that road. Sean, what can help you recover from a bad head injury? Well, first of all, Sean, I'd have to know what the injury was about. And the reality is Wolf Non-Surgical, I would get that done on your spine. I would get that done on your occiput, which is at the top of your head. I'd want to find out where you hit and how you hit. And the reality is when you have a brain injury, then you really need to watch out. Okay, so we know that blue light really damages the brain. We know that 4G and 5G definitely does. I'd be wearing Tesla glasses right off the bat, because you're damaging your brain. And then I'd be getting on a good nutritional program that's going to help the brain. And again, we're back at SAC calcium, because it crosses the barrier. There are other products, but I'm not going to do product training here. That's not what this is about. And then the other thing is well, I just don't want to do it. And then you know what happens? People get on here and go, oh, were you trying to help us or sell your products, Dr. Wolf? Well, don't worry, my products sell enough, okay? The reality is, no matter what the person's situation, we can waste money by just taking products. But when you get a perfect day consult, and then we're going to support you unlimited after you pay that $125, that's the way you do it. You need somebody to track you. You need a cheerleading team, okay? All right? And understand something. If you do have a head injury, you want to really go in there and want to heal this. This is not like a shoulder injury or a hip injury. Pam, I was taking natural progesterone cream and natural DHEA for low female hormones. I got treated from a natural person in Texas. I have ran out and was going to order more. I wanted to get your opinion before I order more. Go ahead and order more, but the reality is I really believe that most hormonal problems come from an inflammatory mind and a toxic body. And I've proven it many, many times. I'm not telling you not to do this, but the reality is the end result is your imbalance of your hormones, but it's probably from a toxic mind or a toxic body. So, somebody who is fearful all the time is going to have hormonal problems because you're dumping adrenaline, cortisol, and histamine on a continual basis. So just know that. Again, I would tell you to take a look at that. And people don't really want to do that. They just see a physical body and they just want to work with it physically. Meanwhile, when we're more of an energy body than we are a physical body, and it's actually the invisible that creates the physical. So that's why we always got to look at how we deal with things emotionally, how we respond, okay? And how much we truly love and take care of ourselves. Until you take the time to create what you would call a perfect day from the minute you wake up until you go to bed, then everything else is just roll the dice, isn't it? Isn't it? Janie, can you fix a hiatal hernia? No, I can't, but you can. And first thing you got to do is look at the bowel. You got to look at what goes in your mouth because that digestive tract is getting the living crap kicked out of it. And you don't have a hiatal hernia unless you've been constipated. Okay, so let's figure this one out. Okay, so here's the diaphragm, sits underneath the ribs right here. Okay, sits right here. So now, do you know why you get a hernia? I'm going to tell you something. It's not because you lifted up the couch for your wife. Okay, it's because you did this. And you don't even know you're doing it. You're so used to doing it. You've been constipated for so long. And you're trying to grunt your poop out every day. Or every other day. Or if you're lucky, some people maybe every 3 days because maybe you only poop every 3 days. But the reality is when you push down on the diaphragm, right? Okay, do you know what happens? Okay, well, your valve, okay, where your food comes through from your stomach into your small intestine, the valve pops up through the diaphragmatic hole. And guess what? I'll tell you a story. So I had a guy, and actually when I was in Texas, I was down there doing a lecture for Ty Bollinger. I went in to get a haircut. So he was talking about how he's got a hiatal hernia, and he was having like really bad heartburn at the time. Because when you have a hiatal hernia, you're going to have heartburn all the time. So when you do get heartburn, take a level teaspoon of baking soda with 10 ounces of warm water. Drink that, and that'll bring down the acid. Because that acid, if it keeps coming up here, it will cause esophagus or throat cancer. So we want to stop that one for sure. But the reality is I went in and I took my elbow with our technique, Wolf Non-Surgical, and believe it or not, it took me probably only 2 minutes. First, I went around it, maybe 3 minutes, worked around it. You could feel the actual lump. You'll actually feel it with your elbow. You might not be able to feel it with your hand, but you'll feel it. It's right in here. And I could feel the lump of scar tissue around it that built up from the acid. So first I went in and loosened all that up around, okay? And I could feel the crystallization and the calcium buildup. So first I loosened that, and then I said, okay, take a breath with me. And on 3, okay, I want you to just take a deep breath in. So I went 1, 2, 3, and with my elbow, I caught where it had popped up through the diaphragmatic hole, and I boom, and I pulled it down, and I'm telling you, he let out one squeal. Yeah, it burnt because I pulled it back down, and guess what? That's it. So now what I told him is that now you got to go on for the next, 3 to 6 days, a water fast, juice fast combination. So let's not have any food go. And then I told him too to rub DMSO rose cream on the area, and then also to rub on the area here Pain Away essential oil, okay, so that we can bring the inflammation down, but we can increase the healing with DMSO and with the Pain Away essential oil. So after that, I said, once the pain is gone and the inflammation, what I want you to do is I want you to get a clapper off my website, and then I want you to go in there and I want you to clap the area for about 10 to 15 minutes every night. So anyways, his problem never came back. Now, but I did tell him, if you don't order the daily cleansing tea and take that twice a day, along with Tummy Love, and stay away from the dairy, stay away from the flour, the refined products, and cut back on your animal protein, I said it could come back. So there, I hope I answered your question. That's 24. Okay, conscience. Oh, okay. How do you break a 14-day fast? Well, you break a 14-day fast with coming off of it with 7 days with either bone broth and vegetable broth, one or the other or both, and celery juice. And that's what you do for 7 days. And then you come into the Perfect Day Diet protocol, which you'll see in my Perfect Day Guide in my library. Just click on the Perfect Day Guide. But if you go into the 6-day Advanced Water Fasting Challenge Guide, which is in my library, click on there, and it tells you all the rules. If you follow that 6-day Advanced Water Fasting Guide, and you follow the rules, you're going to have the most amazing fast, okay? And you'll be able to break it properly. 26, Mary, can you tell us how to get rid of hives from stress? Yeah, get rid of your stress. No. So the reality is, hives are from stress. You're absolutely right. So I would tell you to look at the 4 pillars of the, first of all, go to the Perfect Day Guide. Take a look at the Perfect Day Diet. It's around page 3840 in the Perfect Day. But the reality is if you go to that, you'll see I call it the 4 Braveheart pillars of self-love. Go there and you'll see that it's Love Band, Life Band work, right? This is a hug with the love. You can order these guys for 50 cents from us, right? And order a dozen or so. And they come in orange, purple, black and white, or white and black. So what you do is when you're having a thought and it's a negative thought, you go, 3, 2, 1, I got this. Or 3, 2, 1, that's the old me. You know what? And understand something. The reason why we do this is because we can feel it, we can hear it, we can see it. And this is a hug. It's snug as a hug. This is a kiss. And I am going to practice loving myself. And when something used to stress me, I'm just going to go, I got this. Nope, I got this. And then I'm going to connect to my lion heart breathing. 6 seconds in. And you do that, there's no way that you're going to keep on reacting and dumping adrenaline and cortisol and histamine that cause the hives. That's the bottom line. And you're not. And then the other thing is do the mirror work, and then also do the sticky note work. And if you've got a partner, you can do your couples connection or your mirror work connection with yourself. I'm not going to get into it in total, but you got to do the homework. You know, everybody, I'll tell you what. You are taught to have no patience for yourself. No patience. When you learn to have patience, when you learn that when you fall down or something goes wrong and you don't react and you don't attack yourself and you go, oh, I got this. And you just keep repeating it. Put a slight smile on your face. Stay connected to your breath. Your life is going to change. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you what you've been taught. 9,999 out of 10,000 of you have been taught to what? No patience at all. You do not take the time to love, to learn how to love yourself, respect yourself. Have you created the perfect day? Do you know what the perfect day looks like? And what if you repeated that perfect day? Well, that would turn into a perfect life, wouldn't it? So if you've got chaos in your life, you're running a chaos program. And if you're allowing people to treat you like a doormat, that's because guess what? You're getting exactly what you put out there. Nobody's going to treat me like a doormat. Ever. And I don't say it like, ugh. I just mean nobody's going to do it. They know not to do it. I vibrate too high. Okay, when you disrespect yourself, you'll be disrespected. When you believe there's lack in the world, you will have lack. And depending on what your parents thought, who you hang around with, okay, birds of a feather flock together. And if you're not wanting to do the homework and go and watch my 12 Braveheart loving steps, and then once you've done that, why don't you go and do my Braveheart course? It's free. Okay? It's free. And then why don't you learn about the human body and go do my A to Z wellness masterclass? You can go in to my library, click on that, and I'll give it to you for free. What do you want? What is it you want? Okay, so you don't want to spend money and you don't want to spend any time, but you're expecting to have changes in your life. Listen, unless you're willing to change your personality and really, truly put yourself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else, so help you God, how are you ever going to show anybody else how to do it or become the light for your family or anyone else? Look at, there are so many people that are unconsciously, subconsciously trying to kill themselves that everybody thinks that's as good as it gets. What a mess. Mary, can you tell us how to get rid? I already did that. Barisha, is it possible to get stomach pain and loss of appetite from stress? Oh, absolutely. And if you go and eat while you're stressed, you're not going to digest it. It's going to rot and putrefy, and you're going to blow up with the gas. Because when you get stressed, all your energy and blood supply goes to your arms and legs because you're supposed to be running because they're supposed to be a tiger, okay? So if there's no energy or blood in your abdominal area or in your stomach or your small intestine, large intestine, then guess what? You're not going to digest. You're going to putrefy. And then that's why you bloat. That's why you feel sluggish. I mean, it's brutal, isn't it? Did you know 75 years ago, we used to have 3 traumas a month. Now that's traumas like, right? And then before COVID, 17 times a day, we would trigger adrenaline and cortisol in our body, the fight-flight response, without anything happening. It was our mind just replaying a broken record. So even though you didn't get up and run, even though it didn't happen, you just keep on replaying negative emotions. You dump those chemicals because your body thinks that it's actually happening. So guess what? Yes, I was raped. Okay, and then I tell that story or I live that nightmare all the time. Well, guess what? Your body goes through the same hormonal and chemical process as when you were raped. The same thing when you're in the car accident. You know what? You watch. If you want to have a beautiful life, you go back and retell the story. And I know this may not seem right to you, but whether it was a car accident, what did you learn from that? Can I grow from that? And understand something, if you're limping around emotionally, you've got to rewrite the story. And if you're limping around physically, you've got to get rid of the scar tissue and the crystallization and the calcium, because that displaced calcium, because it doesn't matter. If you injure yourself through a sports injury, through a car accident, or you have surgery, you're going to have scar tissue left over, displaced calcium in the area, and crystallization. If you don't go to see somebody like me or one of my therapists that do non-surgical, then you're going to limp for the rest of your life. If you've got a cane or a walker, you don't need it. Did you hear what I said? I'm telling you, you don't need it. And you're on your way to a wheelchair, and you're on your way to a nursing home, and that's what they want. You got to remember something. Big oil is big pharma, and big oil and big pharma own the food industry. How's that working for you? Leanne, how to heal gastritis? Gastritis just means that you're acidic. So the reality is get a consultation. It means inflammation in your esophagus, in your small intestine. Now, why is that? Well, you're stressing yourself out. You're not eating properly, probably not drinking structured water, probably not drinking enough water either, probably drinking too much coffee, Okay, probably you love your chocolate too much, ice cream, I don't know. Probably you don't know how to food combine properly. There's so many basic rules, but guess what? Go take a look at the Perfect Day Guide. Go to page 38, read through some of that information, and then see if you're worth $125 for a consultation. Lords, how to get rid of E. coli in vagina and kidneys. Okay. Well, what the heck? Okay, you know what? It's like this. I'm going to tell you something right now. Okay, practitioners out there, they don't talk about the large intestine. It's the holy grail of everything. You know, the medical system never talks about it. You could walk in and look like you're 7 months pregnant and you're a man, and what are they going to say? Lose weight. It's not weight you need to lose. It's what? It's inflammation and infection. And guess where the infection's coming from? It's coming from your large intestine dumping fecal waste into your body, okay, into your bloodstream. And that's why you got to put on fat to store the inflammation. But the problem is actually the good bacteria in your bowel have been destroyed by antibiotics. And then guess what? Because you're already bloated and your bacteria are so injured, we know you're going to get colds and flus, COVID. We know that you're going to get sick with infection and E. coli, because E. coli actually comes from your bowels absorbing fecal waste into your bloodstream and into your pelvis. How do you think the E. coli got into your urine and got into your kidneys? Because your bowel's breaking down. Nobody talks about this. So now when you got the E. coli in bacteria in your urine and kidneys, what are they going to give you? Antibiotics. And what is that going to do? Wipe out the good bacteria in your bowel. What's that going to do? Create more E. coli. Oh yeah, it'll bring down the E. coli, the antibiotics, but it'll just create more down the road, and now you've got less of an immune system, more E. coli. So guess what you're going to be? You're going to be in a perfect storm situation that's not too perfect. All right. So again, do you want to turn this around? Perfect Day Diet. Do you want to turn this around? Yeah. Start doing the colon cleansing. Start learning how to love and heal your body. Okay. There's no appointment that you can get that's going to go in and magic wand you. God created your body and said, it's up to you to look after it. Your choices are going to mean everything. What you focus on is going to create your body. So until you understand, to change your reality, you change your personality, meaning what you do during the day and how you think about yourself and what you eat, drink, and who you hang around with even. And who your practitioner is. Is your practitioner a drug dealer? Is your practitioner a surgeon? Is it a specialist that only looks at your nose or your ear? Or is your practitioner somebody who looks at whole body healing? Andrea, can you use the belly button therapy if you have a slight umbilical hernia? Yes, but be gentle and understand something. You can get rid of the umbilical hernia if you're going to do the detox, do tummy love, do daily cleansing tea, do black gold, get yourself on the Perfect Day Diet, get rid of the inflammation, get rid of the infection, and bring down the pressure that's wanting to pop your belly button out. And then guess what? Be really gentle with doing that. And then eventually we can go in there gently with Wolf non-surgical around the abdominal area and get rid of the other adhesions to get rid of the other blocks, so we can increase the circulation around the umbilical cord, our umbilicus, otherwise your belly button, so that healing can take place. There's other things you can do. You can call if you want. LaShawn, hi, Dr. Wolf. My ANA is positive. My ANA is positive. It has changed from homogeneous to speckled in 1.5 year period. I am deficient in many vitamins, minerals, and hormones. CRP and creatine have increased as well. I have a complex cyst on my kidneys and have not been able to properly detox. You have any suggestions? Okay. How do we get into this chaos? Because our mind is chaos. Because we're in fear and we're panicking. And, we've never been taught how to look after ourselves. This can be turned around. Are you willing to take massive personal action? Are you willing to at least get a consult and start there? I'll work with you. So will my consultants. And like I said, once you paid for the consult, you're with us for life. And the other thing is you have to understand something. People go, well, how can you look after all these people? Well, because these people learn how to look after themselves. There's nobody out there that wants to remain a cripple, physically, emotionally. Who wants to be a victim? Who wants to feel like a victim? How does it feel to feel like a victim? Oh, like that's not happening right now around the world. Lisa, so many people under the age of 25 are coming down with cancer. My guess is Wi-Fi radiation due in part the number of children playing with cell phones as children. Very sad. Can you suggest ways to detox the cancer? I already have. Watch the whole Q&A. Okay? Go into my library. Dive in. Okay? I'll be releasing I Am Woman Masterclass. I'll be releasing Thrive Masterclass. The Clapping for Health Masterclass. I already have Braveheart Masterclass out there for you. I already have A to Z Wellness Masterclass. Everything is there. But you know what? I don't have the time and I don't have the money, do we? Well, you'll find out if you've got the time and the money later. Because everybody has a point of pain. Pain is supposed to be a GPS to keep you on track. But we have been taught that pain is something we have to learn to live with. Well, that's that whole 911 emergency health care that most people opt into. Unless you become your own practitioner and you know how to create the perfect day from the moment you open your eyes until you gently close your eyes at night, then there's no other way to put it. You're screwed. You're screwed. Okay? Because it doesn't even matter if you were to come to me on a continual basis, same thing. If you're looking to me to treat you for the rest of your life, that's no way to live. That's called turning the burner down. If you're looking for a practitioner to train you to become your own master of your mind and your body, oh my gosh, then you'll get everything that you were supposedly promised in the beginning. Kathleen, what about tummy love, underactive thyroid? Will it affect my thyroid? Of course not. And if it affects it, it's only going to be in a good way. I don't carry products that have negative, harmful effects on the body. I do not. I do not carry products that will hurt your body. Angela, I love the daily cleansing tea. It's so good and works amazing. I've been on SAC calcium for 15 days now, 2 to 3 times a day. How many months will it take to restore osteoporosis? Any recommendations? I need to know, do you have like 30% of your bones bone calcium been displaced into the tissues and organs? So we need to know. The reality is, if you're doing it 3 times a day, the Merigen SAC calcium, 3 times a day, we can usually see a 30% change, okay, within 3 to 6 months. Now, don't hold me to it, because do you smoke? Do you toke? Do you drink wine every night? Are you in a relationship that love has been lost? Have you ever even loved yourself? Okay. Do you drink structured water? How much do you drink? Do you do any exercise where you're actually some stress exercises to stress the bones so that they can become stronger? There's rules here. But please feel free to call me. My extension's number 5. I'll help you with this, Angela, because you're taking the daily cleansing tea. You're taking the SAC calcium. You're not alone. Anybody that gets our products, you're not alone. Utilize us, okay? All right? Do you know how you've been taught to be put on hold? Do you know how you've been taught to talk to a robot? Please do not email me. Do not text me. Call me if you've got a question. You're a human being. I'm a human being. Let's have a good relationship, and let's teach you how to become the master. Elizabeth, doctor, what do you recommend for my eyes? The doctor said I have cataract and said I have to have an operation. Well, you and your doctor can decide about the operation, but just know this. Cataracts are caused mainly because of, believe it or not, 4G. It will be 5G pretty soon, which is way worse. but mainly blue light. Are you getting this? And an acidic diet. I will never have cataracts, even though, look at the blue light hitting me here. But what I do is I will spray, okay, silver in my eyes throughout the day. And I do it every day throughout the day. You don't have to have burning, dry eyes. And the reason why the eyes burn and are dry is because of the brain. Yeah, you didn't know that, right? Your eyes don't see, your brain sees. And the other thing is you get dry and burning eyes because your brain is dehydrating and it's burning up because of the blue light and because of the 4G and pretty soon 5G. You're on your phone, you're in the mall. What about all the LED lighting? You watch TV, you go to a movie. How am I doing? iPad, gaming. So anybody that doesn't have a pair of Tesla glasses and works on computers for a living is crazy. Can you get them to bring in a pair, please? So usually I have mine on my neck. Today has been like crazy. And they're sitting out with Nat because we were working on putting together the slideshow, how to become number one at the art of number two. So then I'm going to put fulvic in my eyes as well, drops in my eyes. And I do that. I do this no less than 3 times and 3 times a day. Do you know how much that costs you to save your eyes? And then if you've got cataracts, you want to take a look at the Bioptron, which is the most amazing thing. It'll increase your circulation in the body right down to the bone, 33%. Yeah, right down to the bone. Has a fluorine lens. The light goes right into the eyes, and it helps to heal the brain and the eyes. But you got to get yourself Tesla glasses if you got cataracts because you're on your way. It's big time trouble. Gentleman, he was 72 years old. He lives in Abbotsford, which is about 4 hours from here. He was supposed to get cataract surgery. So it took 6 months. But in 6 months, guess what? His cataracts came down 50%. So they'll keep coming down. But he's on the perfect day diet. He's doing the silver sprays, doing the bright eyes. He's wearing Tesla glasses. Now, if you've got a headache and you put these on, your headache goes away. Now that blue light, and any of the 5G that could be hitting my eyes or 4G is being turned these are not blue blockers. Understand that. I mean, you can pay for a good pair of blue blockers, you can pay around $150, $200. For these glasses, you're going to pay around $400. But guess what? They actually take the blue light and the frequencies from 4G, 5G, and other cellular frequencies that are hitting the eye, and it turns it into healing frequencies. Tesla invented the fluorine lens. Once you have these, your headache drops, your eyes go, your brain goes, How would you like to work on a computer all day or watch TV? You ever notice when you watch TV at night, how do you feel? You feel like somebody kicked the living crap out of you. Your eyes are burning. You feel vegging, like you're vegging out in your head, and you feel more sore and stiff from relaxing because it's not relaxing. Once you wear these, you can watch TV, you can be on the computer, you can do all of these things. When I travel through airports, I'm in an airplane, all that blue light, all that Wi-Fi, these stay on all the time. All right. So you want to, like I said, you want to do that. You want to look at the Bioptron. So it depends on what you want to do, but just remember something, okay? Blue light destroys the endocannabinoid system in the brain, and the endocannabinoid system actually makes natural CBD. That's why everybody's craving CBD, because a blue light has knocked that system out of your brain. Okay. Anessa, how to safely get rid of moles? Well, moles are a liver problem. So unless you're going to clean out your colon and do coffee enemas and change your diet, you're not going to get rid of moles. And I will tell you, if you want to call me, I'll tell you how to get rid of moles, okay? I don't want to do it because I will talk to one person at a time. I don't want to give information out there and then just people go and do things. And I'm not, you know what I mean? Some people just don't think properly. We need to do things right. And understand something, moles are not good things. And if you get a mole that starts to turn brown or black and gets thick and and starts to thicken, then you know that you're a toxic little puppy and you better get your act together. Bree, I have severe adrenal fatigue. I've tried every herb. Yeah, well, have you tried the Braveheart 12 loving steps and kick in the first 4, being mirror work, love band work, connecting to your breath, and personal connection? Try that. And recently came to the conclusion it's more about trauma in my nervous system. There you go. And isn't that the truth? And guess what? You are what you are depending on the most prominent programs in your brain. So if you're not willing to go rewrite the programs in your brain, then you're always going to be trying to just turn yourself down on simmer. And what you'll do is you'll do this. You'll be like everybody else. Well, how's he doing? Well, you know what? Over the years, he's gotten to be more calm. No, he hasn't. He's exhausted himself and he doesn't have the energy anymore, but he's still the same person. To become a different person, you have to rewrite your story from your past, and you got to create new programs of total self-love, total self-care, unconditional love, off the hook, no guilt, no sinner, no failure. And just look at life and say, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? You know what? On a side note, I want to know where all the ministers are, the pastors, the reverends, the priests. Where are they with this whole COVID thing? Where are they? You know, you'd think, people that follow God would have more faith in the human body. You'd think that they'd be working on trying to get people back together, wouldn't you? I'm not picking on anybody. It was just a thought I had. However, I'm intrigued by SAC calcium. So is everyone else. We did a Q&A last night. If you want to check on, is it up on YouTube yet? It is. Yeah, we did it last night, and it's also on Facebook. We did a Q&A. Check out it. This is Marigen, everyone. There's also Marigen, which is for chronic conditions. Cardigen for joints, Megagen for like maintenance. People are healthy, want to stay there. And Ozo Jr. for anybody before the age of 12, autism, or they're not mentally or physically growing at the rate they should. Alzagen for Alzheimer's. And then Dentagen for jaw and dental problems. There you go. I really don't want to invest money into something, again, if it won't help. Well, do your research. Go to my library. Go click on the SAC Calcium Guide and look at all the scientific research. And then go into PubMed, where they talk about if somebody could invent a calcium where they could isolate the ion, then we would be able to reverse almost all chronic illness. And I'm not the one saying it. And guess what? They did 6 years ago. And that's this product. I spent so much money on so many things. I understand. I understand that. I'm chronically ill at the moment. The stress of COVID, well, and the lies out there have taken a terrible toll. No, wait a minute. You got it all confused. People are always going to lie, okay? That's what people do. They lie a lot. I mean, our government never stops lying. And the problem is that most healthcare out there is a lie because it's built on a foundation of lies, all right? So, people don't get sick because of lack of drugs. They don't get sick because of lack of surgery. Okay, they get sick because of lack of self-care and a lack of self-love. And I'm not telling you never to get surgery or never do drugs. I'm trying to tell you that you cannot take emergency health care and make it into daily care. And that's the big lie. Can you advise? Well, I can advise. I would tell you to get a consultation. I tell you to do research in my library and start doing some of my master classes, and then see if you can find any holes or any lies with me. You're not going to. And even if you did find one, it would have been an unconscious lie that I will correct, because whether you want to believe this or not, I'm going to live my life in total integrity. And when I say that, I'm not trying to be a rebel here, but living in total integrity means that I'm not going to put up, I'm not going to shut up, and I am going to protect my family. Tammy, I have an hiatal hernia. We talked about that. I've had 3 of them since October. No, you can only have one. You can only have one, sweetheart. You can have an attack of a hiatal hernia 3 times, but you only can have 1 time. And then somebody needs to go in with Wolf non-surgical if you want to take that apart, okay? And you got to do the right steps, like I talked earlier about an hour ago, okay? Understand that can be reversed. I've had 3 of them since October, and now they want to do a gastric bypass. I've stopped eating greasy foods and cut out sodas. Did you notice what she was doing? So this is why she got it. But I still have acid reflux. Get the baking soda out. Level teaspoon to a rounded teaspoon of baking soda in about 8 to 10 ounces of water. Drink it. That'll buffer the acid down. But you got to get rid of the hiatal hernia, and I just told you how we can do it. But you're going to have to come here if you want to get it done. Okay? All right? Or if we ever come to the States, or, yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. Well, we would be in the States, but September got canceled. November, of course, got canceled. So we'll see. When they get done putting all the 5G towers up, and when they've done putting all the cameras for facial recognition, and then when they're done giving everyone COVID vaccination that wants it, then probably they'll let us into the country and start teaching courses again and start traveling more. But just know this. I have master trainers going into United States and throughout Canada. And if you let me know where you live, we might just be able to do this for you if you're close enough, okay? I just won't be going to do a full-blown course because people don't, we've just had to cancel like 30 people and tell them that we had to give their money back or they can wait. And so we all have disruption, but the reality is I'm not going to let it bother me. Okay, plan B, plan C, plan D. Let's keep going. So question I have is, what can I do to fix their hernia and stop acid reflux? And they have done surgery twice, the same area, and keeps happening. Every time you get surgery, you're going to have more scar tissue, and the problem's going to get worse until they're going to want to do this bypass. That's how this game works. And understand something. Surgery gives more scar tissue than anything else you could do in your life. And after every surgery, no matter what it is, you need to come and see us if you don't want to live with the aftermath of surgery, because surgery causes so much scar tissue and displaced calcium that you're going to have trouble from it. End of story. Sylvia, what do you recommend for farsighted hyperopia? Let me see here. Definition: a common vision condition in which you can see distant objects clearly, but objects nearby may be blurry. For kids 3 years old, plus 6.5 on both sides. Well, I would be doing the silver drops. I would be doing the bright eyes. I will tell you that it's a whole plant-based diet, and also it's drinking enough structured water, keeping their bowels moving. If you think that that's not true, then we're far mistaken, because it's the higher the vibration of your lifestyle, the thoughts you think, the food you eat, the drink you drink, the people you hang around with, it's not just your eyesight. You know, there's a song, I can see clearly now, the rain has, you know the one. The reality is, as soon as you start to think clear, you'll see clear. And you're going to go, yeah, but they're just little kids. Yeah, I understand that. Okay? So it's about the physical, it's about the emotional, and it's about the invisible. Gail, I do intermittent fasting daily. Do I need to do a water fast too? Yes. I believe everybody, not a water fast, an advanced water fast. Go to my library click on there, the 6-day advanced water fast. And we're doing one in September, aren't we? Do you know what the date is? Can you check that? See if somebody can find that. So in September, we're going to do our next 6-day advanced water fasting challenge. Make sure that that's in here from now on. With every show, put it into what I talk about, okay? And you'll want to join us. And even if you just want to be a spectator, or maybe you just want to do one day, or maybe you want to do more than 6 days, but join us, because guess what? Teamwork makes the dream work, okay? Landa, I bought DMSO, but they couldn't ship to the UK because some of restrictions. Do you know if there are any other places where there aren't restrictions? I don't know. Why don't you go and ask at other health food stores or other natural health practitioners? Oh, here's a deal too. Ready for this? You can also go to a farm supply, or you can go to a veterinarian. Check that out. Adriana, Dr. Wolf, I just started the detox with the cleansing tea, and I see it's working. Thank you. Also, I've been feeling a little pain in my left lower back. Well, that can be a block in your bowel. And understand something. You want to get this, everybody? The reason why you got low back pain is because of your large intestine, because you're dumping waste into your abdomen and your pelvis area. Why do you think L4, L5 is got so much scar tissue crystallization and displaced calcium? Why do you think the discs are actually shrinking like beef jerky? Why do you think people have to have their backs fused there so much? Why do you think people have to have rods put in? Okay, there's your answer. A little pain in my left lower back. The pain goes and comes in between those days. I drink a lot of water. So do you know what can be done? Well, first of all, where the pain is in the back, we know that's infection, creating inflammation, which has scar tissue formation. You give me 5-10 minutes and I'll go in with Wolf Non-Surgical and I'll untie that knot and it's gone. Let me tell you something. There are people out there buying canes, buying walkers, getting into wheelchairs, all because of scar tissue and crystallization and a calcium problem that we can turn around. I'll give you a money-back guarantee that we can turn around 99% of everything that comes to us. And the reality is not that we're magical. We're not talking about cures. We're just talking about the side effects of being toxic, the side effects of being inflamed, and that's what happens. That's why grandpa's stiff as a board. That's why you get up in the morning stiff. That's why you can no longer go play soccer or badminton or go play any type of baseball or go golfing. And we can change that. Why do you compare yourself to the average person your age that is already in trouble? Don't do that. Break away from the herd. Come see us and let us prove that I am not wrong. Billy, I've been detoxifying for 15 months and 4 of them no TV. You rock. I am very aware of our situation. I had 2 previous back operations, and now that I'm 62, no doctor in BC will touch me. My feet and hands burn 24/7. Okay, all right. You come to us for personal treatment and training, or even if you don't want to learn how to do the Wolf Non-Surgical so your wife could do it for you, or and you could do it for your partner, then come here. But if you come in a situation like this, I need you to come here for 10 to 14 days, and we'll treat you 2 hours a day. And by the 4th day, you'll take a day off, and then we'll go another 4 days, take a day off, and then we'll go another 4 days. And by the time you leave here, your feet and hands won't burn, and your back is going to feel amazing. Pain Clinic in Kelowna. My wife has to drive me everywhere. My whole family is in healthcare. Yeah, it really sounds like it. You know what? Then they better get out. No, I'm kidding. So anyway, so here's the deal. My whole family's in healthcare, but this guy's crippled. Right. Well, what does that tell you? That tells you that the healthcare profession they're in is crippled. All right. I'm not picking on anyone. Hey, I'm the guy that gets the money back guarantee here. All right. End of story. So, put your money where your mouth is. And that's what I've done. Indiana, what to do for a recurrent UTI. Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. You don't have a UTI. You've got a bowel that's in trouble. Get on the daily cleansing tea, the tummy love, the black gold. Look at the perfect day diet. And then understand, if you've got a reoccurring UTI, that means your bladder's infected and inflamed. That means you're full of scar tissue in your pelvis. If you can, come for the Wolf non-surgical pelvic treatment so we can lovingly pull the scar tissue apart, melt the crystallization, put the calcium back in the bones, and then restore and make all your ovaries, your uterus, your bladder, and all the tissues in that area, let's make them back to beautiful, healthy vascular tissue. That's what it's all about. You can't have pain unless you have a block. Did you get that? And wherever it gets worse and worse and more chronic and chronic, the block is getting bigger. That block is calcium crystallization and scar tissue. So you're either going to take massive personal action and go find a new track and a new way to live, or you're just going to stay there and need to get numbed out with drugs until surgery takes over. And then once surgery kicks in, then they'll start giving you a fake knee, fake hip, mesh, a stent, screws, a rod. How am I doing? Welcome to the domino effect of unconscious living. I want to thank everybody for joining me. That was a lot. But we're caught up now, right? We're caught up. So Monday I will be doing a live Q&A. If you've got live questions or you want to challenge me, please challenge me. Don't just sit there. You can challenge me. You should be challenging anybody that has anything to do with your life. You make people earn your trust. All right? Wednesday, August the 19th, I have the High Wire with Del Bigtree. The High Wire is on fire. That's what it's called. And then the following week, I have How to Become Number One at the Art of Number Two. And if you're interested in a consultation, go to my website, click on consultations, and then read up on the different master trainers, see who's available. If you have trouble getting one because we're so booked, some months we're doing around 200 consultations to 250 consultations. Figure that one out. And how are we doing that and actually helping everyone? Because teamwork makes the dream work. Okay? If you want to get my 7 empowering steps, email me at quickstart@docofdetox.com. I already told you could have my Healthy to 100 book, which is the holy grail of getting started and taking your life back. And you can have it for free. Just pay the shipping. And just know this, that if you want to, all our shows and our Q&As are time-stamped, okay? And they're up on YouTube, so if you don't want to listen to me go on for 2 hours, just go directly towards your question or the one you want. Also, if you want to listen to any of our shows, go to YouTube. Not YouTube, go to iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and you can download the audio onto your phone. Understand something, everyone. I was in the health business, and then I took off almost 10 years. I came back 7 years ago, and everything that you see in my library, the book that I wrote here, all the products that I've put together, I've done that in 7 years. So let me just say this. Your potential is unlimited, but it won't be unlimited until your beliefs are unlimited. And your beliefs are going to be limited if you watch the news or if you listen to anyone that's part of the system out here. Break away from the system and know that there is a hidden practitioner and a genius inside of you. And I'm not making this up. We prove this every month with our courses. People come here, whether they are just getting out of high school, whether they are chiropractors, naturopaths, or they've been in the medical business, okay, or they are, the children have left and I've always wanted to be a practitioner, okay, or I hate my job. I just want to do my passion, help people. Come and take our course. Go to itih.com, take a look at our courses. We have courses coming up, and just so you know, I will be doing Whole Life Coach in the fall sometime up online. It won't be the same as coming to see me, But understand something. We're going to reach everyone. We want to touch everybody around the world, and I really do. You know, I challenge everyone to take a look and see if I have an agenda. And if you do find an agenda, it's called teaching you how to totally love, honor, and respect yourself. God bless. 3, 2, 1. Together, we can do this. If you're looking for life-saving and life-changing information, well, you've come to the right place. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Stay connected.